Hello, welcome back to the Confident Witch podcast. I'm Solanox, and today we're going to talk about the death of fear. Now, I just came home last week from one of the biggest festivals that we do in my church, my tradition, Spring Mysteries Festival. And I want to talk about what it means to let fear die. Because sometimes our greatest spell might just be the decision to live our lives despite fear. Now, this past winter has not been easy. Leading up to the mysteries, I was already dealing with a lot of fear. And there's plenty to be concerned about, to be afraid of, honestly, right? But this was more than just anxiety over politics or the economy and what it's going to do to here. There's also a lot of anxiety over travel for me. Not just worry about flying, the trip itself, your usual stuff, but the possible physical barriers. I have a hard time thinking of the last time that I had a trip or went to a festival or a convention and actually felt good afterwards, physically healthy and good. From weekend camping trips with the family to convocations, spring mysteries, whatever it is, every trip it's been meltdowns, headaches, pain, some kind of sickness, some kind of awful feeling. And if that's not enough, there was a deeper fear going on in my heart, fear that I could be hurt again, fear that patterns from the past might repeat, fear that maybe I wasn't enough or I was too much, fear that I would say or do the wrong thing and then not even be able to understand what I had done when the fallout happened. And I know that if you are neurodivergent, queer, or just a little different, that you know this fear all too well yourself. You probably learned the same lessons that I did growing up. Those lessons from society, and we share that fear of letting our guard down and being seen and then being rejected anyway. And that fear is exhausting. I've been living with that for a long time too. And in fact, it's the part of my shadow that really drives my service and what I do. Some of it is because of that hidden scary feeling that I need to earn or prove my right to belong. Spring Mysteries is meant to be an initiatory festival. And the thing about initiations is that they are not supposed to be easy. And they come in many forms, lots of different ways. But they all share one thing in common. Initiations involve the death of something old and the rebirth of something new in its place. And my journey this past winter really felt like traveling through the underworld, not just the metaphor that we talk about every year on the wheel. Felt my body literally crumbling around me as the light outside fades and the cold descends. I was afraid of this trip to Seattle just as much as I was looking forward to it. Really afraid, but I went anyway. I went despite the fear. I went despite the voices that were trying to whisper in my head that it's all going to go sideways again. I went despite that. I held my head up high and I did it anyway. And I followed my plans. I worked on my body for a long time leading up to this, and I did my PT exercises, and I found ways to nourish and strengthen my body so that I could focus on nourishing my soul at the festival. And then I went to the mysteries and something incredible happened. I didn't get broken this time. I got healed. And instead of feeling crushed by my body or feeling cast aside, I was lifted up by love. And when I walked away from that sacred city of New Eleusis, after helping get it packed back up into boxes and trucks, I realized that fear was gone. It was dead. I don't need to be afraid of not fitting in. I don't need to be afraid of misunderstanding. I'm not afraid of being too much or not enough for the wrong people. Awaz is one of the runes of this season, and it reminds us that death is not the end. Death is a transformation into a new beginning, into a new rebirth. Fear dies when we defy its power over us. And what grows in its place is a new strength. You listening right now, you are also strong enough to let old fears die. The fear that says you aren't lovable. The fear that says you'll never be enough. The fear that says you must be perfect to be worthy of love and acceptance. It's time to burn that fear, bury it, compost it, and then take that compost and plant seeds for love and hope, because there is a much greater life waiting on the other side of fear. May this Beltaine season light your inner fires. May you dare to live despite fear, because on the other side of fear is love. On the other side of fear is joy. So stay magical, stay confident. I'll see you next time.